Hi everybody, it's Gail from Gail's Bookish Things. I wanted to share with you today just some of the inks that I have been using for the month of March. I actually had probably 9 or 10 pens inked at one time, and I've kind of written them dry, I guess you could say, down to just a few that have a little bit of remaining ink. I wanted to talk to you about some of my favorites, and also I have just a little surprise at the end, sort of. I call it that. I think it's kind of fun. So, you know, there's that old Kermit the Frog song where he says it's not easy being green. Well, poor Kermit, I'd have to disagree with him because I think everything about green is fun. I'm even drinking my green matcha tea today. Let me take a sip. A little bit of that frog in my throat thing going, so maybe that'll help. So I'm down to 4 inked pens. I have my Narwhal Primary Macchiato, still going with Monteverde's, or Monteverde, however you're supposed to say that, Jade Noir. This is an awesome green ink. Pretty basic, but it is just a wonderful, smooth flowing, steady ink in just about all of my pens. That's what I look for. I don't have a huge variety of pens. I have Kavecos, TWSBIs, some Lamis, and then a few odds and end pens like the Benu Briolette, the Narwhal, and a few others. Excuse me, sorry. So this has just been top notch, and I love it in this pen. It's really a great combination. I'm a little hesitant to refill it with anything else, but I do want to experiment with my Narwhal and see what else I like in it. Then I recently inked up this TWSBI Eco with the Edelstein Olivine, and that is another awesome ink. Well, I'm talking about greens, by the way, because March, I think of St. Patrick's Day, and even though I'm a little bit behind St. Patrick's Day, it just seems like the color green is especially appropriate for March. This is another awesome ink, and it's a really fun bottle too. It's kind of concave in there. This is a Pelikan ink, and my TWSBIs just are great pens. They work well with almost all my inks. And I really have liked this. I primarily, almost didn't get that out, I primarily write on this Cosmo Air Light or Tomoe River paper with a few occasional other things, and this works so well on that. As you can see, perhaps, hopefully, but the Monteverde Jade Noir is a very deep green, and the Edelstein Olivine is, I guess I might call a lighter green, a truer green, where this seems, here I see more of the green, but on some paper it almost looks more black, where this has a definite green to it. I've had a little bit of trouble with this one with my Kavecos, but generally very awesome ink. And then not a green ink as much as a green pen. I have my TWSBI Jade. This is a broad nib, and this is a broad nib. Now I realize it's 2 different kinds of inks, but this Jade one seems to write especially broad, and it may just be the ink as well, but it just comes out super gushy, super thick line. The CWM Idval, or Cum Idval, I say CWM because I used to not know how to pronounce it, then I looked it up. It's Cum Idval. On this sample here, a little swatching, to me it looks much more on the green side than it does here. On the Cosmo Air Light paper, it's coming out much more teal. So I think it might depend on the paper, but this is just a wonderful pen to write with and a wonderful ink. This ink has been working well with several of my pens too, and it has a reddish shimmer to it. It's really a pleasure to write with. I like it so much. My friend Kim introduced this to me. She sent me a sample, and I have been hooked ever since, and ended up, of course, as you can see, buying a bottle. Another green that I don't currently have inked, but really enjoy, and it's just a basic like Christmas green. Crayon box green is kind of how I think of Noodler's Inks Green Marine, made in the US. I have about, kind of shady over here, about a half of a bottle left. This is just a great, reliable ink as well. I just featured these other two this month, but that is a great standard ink if you want something that just looks like a green. I recommend Noodler's Green Marine. And then not green at all, but in my TWSBI Eco Gray Broad, I have mentioned before, but sometimes I do specify which TWSBI I'm using because I have several. And so I want to know which TWSBI I have which ink in, to compare how I've liked an ink or not. Because really, I feel like some of the nibs, even though they're all broad, I do have a medium, not here though, and a 1.1 stub. The broads, there's a little bit of a difference, and that one definitely seems to write more broadly. But my friend Donna sent me a sample of Gris Orage. Maybe you would say Gris Orage because of that and that. Anyway, Stormy Gray by J. Urban. I can't say that, but this guy. This is a wonderful ink. It's gray. Goes on looking more of a dark gray, dries to more of a medium, and it has gold flecks in it. And I love, love, love writing with this. I wasn't going to buy any more ink. And you know the end of that story, don't you? Well, my husband decided to order himself a notebook from Jet Pens, and I said, well, if we throw in ink, we can get shipping free. So anyway, he bought me a bottle of this, and I guess it will get here anytime. But I love this so much. It's just really click with me. I love it because it's a gray ink in my gray pen, and I'm going to ink it up. It's almost dry, and this is like the second time I've filled it. You can see some of the gold flecks. Maybe you can right there, kind of sticking to the side. But this pen will probably be dedicated to this particular gray ink because I like it that much, and I could see just writing and writing with it. But all four of these are awesome inks. I'm super happy with them. If I were to go on to other colors, I would mention my Ackerman Deepwater Blue and Noodler's 1984, which is a bluish sheening purpley red ink. Also wonderful. Some of my favorites. But these were the ones I used a lot this month, and I really would highly recommend them all. Now, since we're talking about green, as you saw, and I mentioned I'm having matcha, this has some coconut almond milk creamer in it. It's so good. It's very windy and a little bit cool here today, so a cup of hot tea is really great. It's like March coming in like a lion and going out with like a lamb, I hope. It is the lion today. So the little surprise thing is, when I was on my weekend trip with my husband to visit our daughter, we went into a candy shop and I saw this. Speaking of green, these are matcha Kit Kats. They're from Japan, and apparently Japan has all sorts of flavor Kit Kats. The one they had there was strawberry. Well, so at this shop, this was like $12, and you get like 12 mini, like bite-sized Kit Kats. And I was going to buy it, and then there was some stuff that the shop was selling that I thought was extremely off-color and inappropriate, and especially for a place where kids would be hanging out, and I didn't appreciate that. So I looked it up on a good old trusty Amazon, and we bought it for about half the price there. Yes, it's a little expensive, but who can resist a matcha Kit Kat? It's fun that it's in Japanese. I mean, there's just a few things in English, and I like seeing other languages. Other written languages. I just think there's something beautiful and amazing. So here they are. And so I'm wondering, Kit Kat, if they are, I mean, it's a Nestle brand, which is an American company. So I'm wondering if the Kit Kats originated there, or if it's just Nestle's version of, like, they market different flavors to different cultures. So let's take a look at the green Kit Kat. It looks kind of froggish green. It looks matcha-y. It really does. It looks like matcha tea. That's better. So let's take a bite. Well, it's good. I mean, Kit Kats are amazing. Can't go wrong with Kit Kat. I'm trying to decide if I'm tasting the matcha. I mean, definitely, it doesn't taste as much like chocolate. It would be almost like a flavored white chocolate. Of course, it's not brown, so it's not really cocoa based, I don't think. But it's good. It has that kind of earthy, is it umami or something flavor that matcha has, but not nearly as strong as a cup of matcha would have. So it's good. Yeah, it's a fun experiment. Definitely is a little strange looking, but again, a fun thing to try. I do like matcha tea, so I thought it would be fun to give that a whirl. So there, that was my surprise for you. You can find these on Amazon, and there's strawberry and numerous other ones too, I think in a mixed pack that you can buy. So there, if your life was not complete, perhaps it is now that you know there are matcha flavored Kit Kats. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye.